Hello, everybody. Today is Tuesday, the 12th of January in the year 2021. Today we shall be reading Cameo 6, titled Letting Him Take Charge of the Minutiae, from the Course in Miracles, as based on the original handwritten notes of Helen Schuckman, the complete annotated edition, otherwise known as the Purple Book. Now, before we start reading on Cameo 6, Joanne would like to present a prayer for those who are reading this. So, Joanne, please enlighten us with a prayer.
All right, let's all close our eyes for a moment. Dear God, I give to you today all those little things that troubles me, all the minor little details that it is preoccupying my mind, so I could focus only on love. I also want you to bless everyone that's listening to this beautiful podcast to realize that they are holy, loving, and lovable. Also, God, I want you to bring peace for anyone that's listening that is troubled right now, and know that your love is unconditional. I want to pray also for Angelique and Fernando, that is a part of this podcast. I want to send them love, and I see them in the light as they are perfect. They are my brothers and sisters. I love you with all my heart, and thank you for taking care of all the small details that preoccupy my mind. Amen.
Thank you, Joanne. That was inspiring and heartfelt and resonates with my soul. Thank you very much. All right, so here we go. Cameo 6, titled Letting Him Take Charge of the Minutiae, if I pronounce my Latin right. Right. Miracle Principle 25, titled Miracles Depend on Timing, was originally guidance to Helen, in which Jesus told her that if she would let him guide her through the trivia of her life, he could save her a great deal of time, which she could then devote to its proper use, giving miracles. The specific bit of trivia in question was Helen's purchase of a winter coat. That's the story. Ken Wapnick told the story in his absence from Felicity. He said that Helen was accustomed to shopping in New York City's finer stores. Yet Jesus told her to shop for the coat at Klein's, a bargain store. Wapnick said, not only did Helen find exactly the coat she wanted, but a salesman who waited on her needed Helen's help very badly. He had a retarded child. As an aside, this is the terms used back then, not politically correct today. He had a retarded child and was at a loss on what to do. And Helen was able to be extremely helpful to him. Helen found this guidance quite threatening, because in it, Jesus asked to be let into a very personal part of her life, one that she hardly considered trivial, her shopping. Let's look closer at his guidance. Jesus begins by saying, if you need a coat, ask me where to find one. I know your taste well. And I also know what the coat is that you would eventually buy anyway. Then he explains what happened regarding the coat in a shopping process that he and Helen have clearly already gone through. Jesus says, if you do not like the coat afterwards, that is what would have happened anyway. I did not pick out the coat for you. You said you wanted something warm, inexpensive, and capable of taking rough wear. I told you you get a Borgona, but I let you get a better one because the furrier needed you. Note, however, that it is better in terms of the criteria you established. I could do this because you saw the coat more that way than in terms of a particular material. You thought of Klein's yourself a few days ago, and then you decided against it because Borgana is price fixed. Then you remembered a coat Grace once got there that was much cheaper and seemed pretty much the same, and ask yourself whether it was really right to be sold on a particular trade name through advertising. That opened your mind. So Helen is obviously unhappy with the coat she got as a result of Jesus' guidance. But he explains that it was not only inexpensive, but better than the one he originally said she could get in terms of the criteria you established. Further, she was able to use her professional expertise to render valuable help to a salesman. How could she possibly object? The likely answer will become clear as we proceed. We can see her difficulty with the fur coat guidance in the pages of dictation that follow it. First, her resistance apparently started some dictation she took down. Jesus says the day after that distortion. The first part of what you wrote last night is right. Check this now. The second part was put in by you because you didn't like the first. It was an attempt to reestablish your own control over time. Remember, you cannot stand not knowing what time is. I am not intruding on your will, but I am trying to free it. Unfortunately, it is not clear what these first and second parts are. What is clear, though, is that Helen saw Jesus controlling her use of time as such an intrusion that she then wrote something down that gave control back to her, not realizing that this part was from her own subconscious, not from Jesus. The same resistance then apparently triggered disturbing dreams once she went to bed. Helen writes, in the morning, I remember two distinct dreams which upset me very badly. We only get details about the first, in which someone tells her that I have something very poorly, and that he thought that they would have to let me go. But he promised me a perfectly fair investigation. You, refers to Bill, were assuring me it would be all right, but I was by no means sure. Jesus then comments, do not get bogged down in those dreams of last night. They are reflections of old learning patterns and arose because you did not like what I said about leaving Minutiae to me. They merely illustrate your unwillingness to not get bogged down because you are afraid of the course. So don't use them that way. If you are tempted to do this, ask Bill to stop you. This course is about willingness, not unwillingness. unwillingness has to be replaced by willingness, because willingness is part of readiness, without which learning cannot occur. So apparently, Helen was so resistant to the idea of leaving Minutiae to Jesus that this triggered upsetting dreams at night. These dreams came, Jesus implies, so that she could get bogged down in them, thus nicely diverting her attention from Jesus' uncomfortable teaching. Yet, he says, she can choose to not use these dreams as a diversions her subconscious has intended them to be. A bit later, Helen writes something down that seems to be her paraphrasing of further guidance about not getting bogged down. The key, she says, is to leave everything to him. My feelings for Gary, art, etc., all of which I can simply refer to him and not get bogged down. This is the real secret of not wasting energy. After this, Helen says, I asked him, Jesus, to stay with my unconscious while I slept, and I just passed out. The fur coat guidance then ended up sparking massive resistance in Helen. This resistance caused her to blame Jesus for her dissatisfaction with the coat she got, even though it met her specifications. It caused her to take down false guidance that gave her back control. And it caused her to unconsciously stage a diversion in the form of upsetting dreams. She perceived letting Jesus direct the minutiae as an intrusion on her free will. Jesus countered this, saying that he was trying to free her will, keeping it from getting it bogged down in the daily trivia of her life. His help could actually speed her through that trivia, so that she could release her will to do what it was meant to do, which was meant to give miracles. And this, he said, was what she was really afraid of. She wanted to get bogged down in trivia. She wanted to be upset and to waste her time and energy. So she had nothing left over for miracles. But that meant keeping her true will in prison. So in light of all this, it is interesting to note that Helen did not dictate any of this guidance to Bill to be typed into the urtext. This includes everything under Miracle Principle 25 and everything recounted in the Cameo. None of it left her books.
I think we should read also the Miracle Principle, number 25. Yeah, because it's in chapter 1 of the book. And Miracle 25, what it says is miracles depends on timing.
Yes.
This is why you shouldn't waste time. If you don't mind, I'll read a few paragraphs and then I'll let you continue.
Please go ahead. Well, that was the end of Cameo 6, by the way. But yes, let's go on to Miracle 25.
Yeah, that goes along the line with our Cameo 6.
Okay, and what page can we find that on?
Page 16. So I'll be reading that part where it says that miracles, which is Miracle 25, miracles depends on timing. Letting him take care and take charge of Minutiae. So this is why you shouldn't waste time. I told you before that time would cease when it was no longer useful as a learning aid. There is a way of speeding you up, and this is by leaving more and more time for me, so you can devote it to miracles. So meaning that by leaving all the small details. Yeah, sorry. What it means, I went on mute for a second. Which what it means is that by leaving all the details to Jesus, what preoccupies our mind leaves space for miracles. And this is how time speeds up. So the reason I direct everything that is unimportant is because it is no way to waste your free will. If you insist on doing the trial your way, you waste too much time and will on it. And it's true because our mind stays preoccupied. So we're wasting time on it when we could just give it to Jesus and he takes care of those small details. Will cannot be free if it is tied up in trivia. It never gets out. I will tell you exactly what to do in connection with everything that does not matter. That is not an area where choice will be invested. There is a better use of time. You have to remember to ask me to take charge of all minutiae, and they will be taken care of so well and so quickly that you cannot get bogged down in them. How amazing is that? The only remaining problem is that you will be unwilling to ask because you are afraid not to be bogged down. Do not let this hold you back or us back. If you will ask, I will arrange these things, even if you're not too enthusiastic about it. I'm not intruding on your will. And this is what I think we feel when we say, okay, Jesus, take care of all these things, because it's like, okay, whoa, I'm not deciding anymore. My will is not important, but that's not what he's saying. He's saying that he's freeing our will so we could create and make miracles, you know? Prayer can be very specific in little matters. If you need a coat, for example, ask me where to find one. I know your taste well, and I also know where the coat is that you would eventually buy anyways. If you do not like the coat afterwards, that is what would have happened anyway. So no matter what, this is what would have happened. So why do we have to worry about it? We would have done that choice anyways, right? So, you know, so it's just like make him take care of it. Just take care of all those little things that are bugging me down and like preoccupying my mind, because, you know, there's bigger things at play here, like miracles, you know, which is love. I cannot save you more time than you will let me. But if you are willing to try the hired shopping service, I love that, guys. The hired shopping service,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
know.
So you're like referring to like the higher shopping service, wow, which also covers all lower order necessities and even quite a number of whims within reason. Have a very good use for the time we could save. Of course, you save time because your mind is not in all those small little details that you should I get this, should I go, or the, you know. So remember, a specific answer you get depends on the specific questions you ask. The fewer limits you impose, the better the answers will get. For example, you could ask, where can I find a particular brand of coat? Or where is the coat I want? Or where is the coat I should get? And so on and so forth. The form of the thought determines the level of the answer. Of course, if you give little information, I need a winter jacket, you'll get any winter jacket. But if you say, I need a red jacket with a zipper on the front, I need at least pockets inside, you know,
That price, that sort of price,
yes, that I could afford, you know, and blah blah blah.
warm.
Exactly, you'll get like that answer. But if you ask for a simple jacket, you'll get just a simple jacket.
Yeah, but yeah, she had something specific in mind also. She wanted the burgana, and he chose something else for her. And you know what I like about this is that New York is very big. How many stores is there?
Yeah.
Like jacket stores, there's so many. But Jesus brought her to this store where she bought a coat that was not to her taste that much, but she was going to help somebody. Because anyways, eventually she was going to get bored of the burgana.
I
So
know.
she got something that was better because it was quality better and it was cheaper, and she helped somebody.
How amazing is that? He knows exactly. So why do you have to get all worried about those small details? Let's give it to him. So do not get bogged down in distraction if they now arise. They are reflections of old learning patterns and arise because you do not like what I have said about leaving minutiae to me. They merely illustrate your unwillingness to not get bogged down because you are afraid of the course. Imagine that, letting God, you know. So don't use them that way. The course is about willingness, not unwillingness.
Because willingness is part of readiness, without which learning cannot occur.
Yeah, exactly that. We're reading our principle 25 because it's part of the Cameo 6. And it's a long miracle, but it goes with it, you know. And then it ends with unwillingness has to be replaced by willingness, because, like Fern said, willingness is part of readiness, without which learning cannot occur. I'll say that again because I find it's very important. Willingness is part of readiness. Without it, learning cannot occur. So it's okay to be willing, but you have to be ready. And we had an whole big discussion on that, guys, in one of our classes with Daniel. You need to be ready, not only willing. You know, you could be willing, but you need to be ready as well, you know. And also what it says too, I find, is that by leaving all those small details, the minutiae, to Jesus, it is true that we feel like, whoa, hold on. Because like, no, don't I have free will? Now he's coming in my free will somehow. It is not true, because what was supposed to be will be, you know?
Right. And as we read on in a Cameo, page 1721, the last paragraph, the very bottom, says, she perceived letting Jesus direct the minutiae as an intrusion
Mm-hmm.
on her free will. But he countered this, saying that he was trying to free her from this, free her from her will by keeping it from getting it bogged down in the trivia of her daily life. And the point is, she couldn't let go of control of these little things. She had to know about all these little minutiae and everything, but he kept telling her, no, don't forget, don't. You want a coat? I'll lead you to a coat. Never mind if it's red or this or that and everything. I'll lead you to the coat that you need, not just what she needs, but at the same time, it helped the salesman, you know, this and that. So it's like she wants to go one particular place, get the coat, and get the fuck out of there. No, that was not the question. She needed the coat. He led her to a place where, yes, she'll get the coat that she needs, but at the same time, it'll just, not just the coat, but it'll help somebody else also. She got the coat she needed, but also gave someone else something that person needed. The salesman. She gave her professional experience while she was there. So it's all interconnected. Again,
Isn't it amazing that you could do that? Give all those things that keeps you on the overthinking states. You could give it to Jesus and he takes care of everything, but for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, don't you get peace out of there?
Yes, because quite often, as we try to work miracles in our daily lives, there are so many details, you know, in our personal lives that tend to either put our feet in the mud, because those details are the mud that keep our feet in. When we should just say, okay, let's fly, let it go. Let Jesus take care of the little things in our lives, whether it's, you know, paying bills or got to do this, I got to do that, etc., etc. My major thing that I have to do is create miracles. So I have to get a coat, I have to buy cat food, etc., etc. But let Jesus take care of that. It'll come when it comes. Meanwhile, stay on your course.
That's a
Do
good
what you got
point.
to do,
That's a good point. You know,
and
it's like
things will come along.
saying that, thinking that he can take care of the little things, so you can take care of the big ones. Well, not of the big ones, but concentrate, like you say, stay on your path and concentrate on the right stuff, not the little things. But he can also take care of the big things. Like we know that. It's just that we're so used to being in control. We're so used to it's hard to let go and trust willingly, you know. willingly. So it's as if, like, you know, like when you read this thing, it's like, it's so you would think that going and buy a jacket, it's so like ridiculous, it's so small, but yet we are talking about it in this book a lot. Like, you know, like we refer to this situation with Ellen because it's a big deal. It's a big deal that she has, and even when she got those dreams, because she was so not at ease with all this letting go of the control. So this is a big one I find for me, because yes, the little things I don't always ask God. It's more like for big things to be there and choose for me. But I also wonder. I wonder, you know, because Ellen had a special relationship with Jesus, and he came to her in clearly. But I'm wondering, in my life, how would Jesus come to me if I'm asking him little things like that? Like how would he guide me to this store, let's say, to this store, and how would I hear it? Like, I mean, like, you really have to be connected for that. But what do you think about that?
Yeah. Quite often, it's that small little voice in you saying, it's a small little voice in you. Okay, so we talked about the ego before, saying, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. But we got to listen also to that small little voice saying, nah, I can save this for tomorrow. No, I don't have to do this for today. That's Jesus speaking to us saying, no, I'll take care of it. Don't do this today. I'll take care of it. Pay your bills, everything else, but to do the shopping, everything else, or if you have to do something, I'll take care of that. So when you do go shopping and everything, and you have to buy that coat, that's the example we're using here in this course. You'll go there, and again, you'll meet somebody who says, oh, thank you so very much. Or a better example that I heard about today is like people going out to the restaurants to do a pickup, to do a takeout, because all the restaurants are closed because of the pandemic. But a lot of these folks who are doing pickup are leaving like 20, 30% tip to these people. And these people are thinking, oh my God, I'm only working a couple of hours a week. How am I going to make ends meet? But then they're getting miracles from the rest of us who are giving them that extra income to help them during the week. So those are miracles that people like us can do to help others.
Yeah, it's a chain. It's like, you know, it's like a chain reaction. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. So it's let's say, like, if I decide, because I would like to apply it for let's say try it this week. But apply for 2 little things. But let's say, yes, it would come in a little voice, and maybe it would come also in little guidance. You know, like sometimes you get like not only the feeling, but sometimes you also get those an image or something, or maybe somebody tells you something while you're going to the garage, and maybe it's going to point you to somewhere else or whatever. So maybe be open to see the sign, because the sign could be like in nature also. It could be like somebody tells you something, or
it's true.
That's an interesting one. It's an interesting one to let
I
go
love it.
and to trust that even in the little things, he can be there.
Exactly. And another thing that I love from the Cameo is that he says, ask Jesus to guard your subconscious mind when you go to bed. How amazing is that? I've been doing that as well.
Yeah.
So I don't have as many weird dreams of old patterns.
Good idea.
You know?
Yeah.
So
how often do most of us go to bed and we can't sleep because we have all these ideas in our head? We're thinking about it, as opposed to saying, okay, before I go to bed, let me just get rid of all these ideas and leave that minutiae to Jesus.
very true. Very true. Well, thank you very much for reading, Fern. And if you like what you're listening to, subscribe to our podcast, like it, put comments. It's more than our pleasure. And we shall read tomorrow, Cameo 7.
Love you guys. Have a good day.
Love you too. Have a good afternoon. Talk to you later.
Love and light. Bye.